What's up, everybody? Say hi, say where you're from in the chat box, make a friend. I love it. Jacob's already going to work. I need cash ASAP. Someone call me as soon as possible. All right. That's good. That's good. We don't want to sound too desperate, right? But hopefully Jacob's a Private Money Club member and he's got his deal posted in Private Money Club and he's making some connections. Hey, I'm curious if you're like Jacob and you need funding right now. Like you have a deal and you need funding, type it in the chat box. Type I do, right? If you have a deal, if you have a property that maybe it's under contract, maybe you're like hesitant to make an offer because you don't have the funding, type it in the chat box. Say, that's me. I got one. I do. Okay, cool. They're coming in. They're coming in. I need private money, Jacqueline says. All right, cool. So in my business here, I'm a real estate investor out of Columbia, South Carolina. And my wife and I, whenever we have a property that is ready for funding and we've got all of our documents, we're all organized, we've got our packets, we've got our proposals together. There's a stink bug right on my microphone. Is that good luck? I don't know. Probably not. It's the spring. It's the springtime here in South Carolina. All the bugs are coming out. Tyler says he's got a deal coming. So we call those hot and readies. We call those hot and readies. You know, like Little Caesars pizza. So I have a house full of boys. So we always go to Little Caesars like 2 or 3 times a week to keep our household fed. You just pull up to the window, $5, boom, it's ready to go. So we call those deals that need funding right away. We call those hot and ready. So looks like a few of you need some money. So let's get into it, right? Shall we? I love to see it. So every single time that Jose and I hop on one of these quick start webinars, we always talk about the risk. And some of you are like, oh my gosh, Noah, get to the meat and potatoes, get to the nuts and the bolts. This is the meat and potatoes. This is the nuts and the bolts. Before you even logged into this webinar, you had to click something that acknowledged how risky real estate investing can be and lending can be, right? So here's the lesson in that. Always do your due diligence. You're only as good as your team. The person that you're lending money to is only as good as their team. So it's really important that you're asking tough questions. You're doing good underwriting. You know what to look for, not just in the property, but in the borrower. We're not just doing handshake deals. There's attorneys involved and things like this, right? So as I teach this class here, this webinar, just know that, hey, I'm teaching from a perspective of a real estate investor, right? Someone who uses private money a lot in their real estate investing business and has done so for over 10 years. So based off what I've seen, I'm going to share with you what I know works for me. I can't guarantee it works for everybody on this call, but I always do my best, right, Jennifer? I always do my best to make sure I share with you guys exactly what I'm doing in today's market to get funding for my deals. And if I was a lender on this call, if I was someone who wanted to put their money to work and make a nice double-digit rate of return and have it secured by real estate, I do my absolute best to help those people figure out, what deals are good, what people are good, things like this, right? Because we don't want to lose. Could it happen? Absolutely. But we practice every single week and we get on here to continue to educate ourselves so that we can minimize those mistakes, right? And do this stuff the right way. Hey, Justin, how's it going, man? So we're going to recap here. This is the 50th Quick Start webinar. So over the past couple of weeks, we've covered a few different topics, and I feel like they each build upon one another. We talked about presenting your deals and what your slides should look like and all of the different things like this. So if you're on the call right now and you're like, man, I've got 3 houses I need funding for, the first question I would ask is, hey, do you have everything put together that you can confidently put in front of someone and they feel good about funding the deal? Like, is everything like laid out for them where it makes sense? And so over the past couple of weeks, we've talked about this. What does that presentation look like? If I were to bring you up right now, Tyler, and I said, hey, Tyler, I'm going to bring you up, talk about this deal that you need funding for. Would you have all of these slides together? Would you feel confident in being able to articulate and communicate what the deal is and what that opportunity is for a potential lender, right? And if the answer is no, that's okay. Let's keep plugging in. We offer different courses and classes that you can take, right? But at a minimum, in the Private Money Club community, we want to see people putting stuff like this together. We also talked about the market overview, like what's your market, what area are you investing in? Why did you pick that area, right? I love it. Christine Stokes says, I'm working on a presentation right now. So Chris, as soon as you are done working on this presentation, what you got to do is email me or email Stephen Nagy, and then let's get you in front of the entire Private Money Club community on a Money Club Monday to share your deals. I think that would be awesome. That would be awesome. A few weeks ago, we talked about credibility. So I'm just doing a recap here, right? Rapid fire recap. What did we cover the past couple of weeks? We talked about credibility. How does a person build credibility? Like, if you've done a lot of real estate, that's great. Like, you have the experience, but if someone's never met you before, how do you communicate and present yourself as someone who knows what they're doing and gains the trust of that person? Or even a harder situation, if you're brand new to real estate and maybe this is a new venture for you, how do you come off as being a credible borrower to a lender if you've never done this before, or maybe just done a handful of deals? So we started to talk about that. A big part of this is surrounding yourself with the right team, right? So, you might be brand new to real estate, but, hopefully your real estate attorney isn't. Hopefully your title company is experienced. Hopefully your real estate agent is with the top 1% of his or her market, or in the neighborhood where you're flipping. Hopefully your contractors are licensed, insured. They have a good track record. You following me? Hopefully you have the right type of insurance, a company that you work with regularly for your properties. If it's a rental property in, property management, what does that look like? So we're doing all of these things in advance. And that might also include coaching. It might include mentorship, right? For those of you who are taking the accelerator class, I teach a course for the Private Money Club called the Accelerator Course. For those of you who are taking that class, put that in there. I think a lot of how you learn this business can also boost a person's credibility too, right? Like, do you have have you taken classes? Do you have a real estate license? Did you go through the school of hard knocks? You've been doing this for 20 years. Like, all of those things make a person who they are, right? So as a borrower, as a lender, step number one, this is actually what I teach. The first thing I teach in the accelerator course for Private Money Club is before we start having conversations, you got to make sure you know who your title company is or who your real estate attorney is and things like this, because good lenders, look, if you're on this call because you love the idea of putting your money out there and making a double-digit rate of return and having it secured by real estate that's worth much more, you still got to ask good questions, right? So hopefully good lenders are asking borrowers, tell me about your team. What does that look like? This is a fix and flip project. Great. Who are the contractors, right? All of these things. It's very important, right? So this is why we talk about this stuff. I love it. I love it. All right, cool. So if you're just logging in for the first time, welcome. Let's see. Well, ooh, big jump. We're almost to 100 folks on the call right now. That's awesome. So if you're brand new to the Quickstart webinar, just type brand new. Just type brand new. If you're brand new, you have no idea, first time being here, you're excited, type brand new in the chat box, right? First time caller. If you've been on the Quickstart webinar, type I'm back. I'm back, baby. Wow, lots of new folks. Okay, cool. I love it. I love it. I love it. Welcome back. Welcome back. Well, Jose, look at all these new people. This is awesome. This is fantastic. So we do this every single Thursday, 1 o'clock. Set your timer. Remind Siri to remind you. If you're back, welcome back. Obviously, you guys are back because you see the value in staying plugged in. But for those of you that are here for the first time, my name's Noah Harris. I'm a real estate investor out of Columbia, South Carolina. Revive Homes, that's the name of my company. So lots of times I do case studies. I try to teach like what I'm doing right now. And so if you ever see Revive Homes, like that's my company, and that was established, over 10 years ago. Our goal is 100% track record with all of our lenders. And whether you're on this call right now and you're looking to be a lender, you're looking to be a borrower, then, I hope that your goal is also to create a 100% track record in your business. And a big part of why we teach these classes and why we offer courses and things like this are to elevate the private money lender community that is the Private Money Club. So if we're all more educated, we all have, the foundation and a real good grasp of what should be done And and the higher rising tides raise all ships, right, Jose? Is that what I'm trying to say? So the more we educate, the better the community is going to be in the long run. And this is relationship based. This is a big part of private money is it's relationship based. I can't tell you, all the private money lenders that I have and that I work with, I would also consider them friends to on a certain level, right? So I think that's what's really cool. This is about community. So when I say relationship based, I'm going to ask you a tough question here. How many relationships have you built? How many conversations are you having out in your community to build out your private lender or borrower network? If for my real estate investors that are on the call right now, let me ask you a question. If you were talking to someone who was brand new to real estate, and that person that was brand new to real estate asked you, "Hey, how many offers do you have to make before you? How many offers should I make before I hear my first yes?" Right? How many offers do you have to make before you hear your first yes in your real estate investing world? John says 100. And that was actually Patrick says as many as it takes. I like that. 100 has always been kind of like my benchmark too, right? And there's a saying that if your offers are all getting accepted, you might be paying too much, right? Right, Chris. So I think private money lending is the same. If you're looking for a private money lender, then or a good borrower to lend your funds to, I would ask you, how many people are you reaching out to? How many conversations are you having? And I teach a class called the Accelerator. You see the little logo right there for it. And one of the things I'm really trying to drive home to the students who are taking that class with me right now in Private Money Club is we got to have like 20 conversations with people. I'm talking about like one-on-one. Let's have a Zoom. Let's pick up the phone. I want to hear about your business model. I want to hear about who you are as a lender or who you are as a borrower to find that one relationship that we're looking for, right? And the more conversations we have, the more people that we meet, the more people we are exposed to, the more likely we are to find those good relationships. And I don't know how much money you guys need in your real estate investing business, but you might only be 3 or 4 good relationships away from having all the funds a person needs to do their business. Right. So, and that's kind of what, when I say relationship based, that's really what we're trying to drive home here is that, it's all about the people. Right. So on these calls, we start on time, we keep it real estate. If you're on this call and you want to learn how to make a nice double-digit rate of return and have it secured by real estate worth much more, that's the essence of what we talk about. If you're on this call and you'd like to use people instead of institutions or banks to fund your real estate investing deals, fix and flips, rental properties, short-term rentals, midterm rentals, like Tyler just was talking about, you're in the right space. If you have any questions at all, just go ahead. Hey, buddy. This is how you doing? That's my son, Court. All right, close the door. All right, you guys just got a glimpse of my why there. That's my little guy, Court. I love real estate investing. I love being home. I love being able to pick him up off the bus and things like that. And Court you just met him. He's autistic. He talks, but some might say nonverbal. And if it weren't for this business, if it weren't for my private money lender relationships and being able to buy rental properties and do all this stuff, there's no way I could have the life that I have and that he could have the life that he has. So I'm glad that Court busted through here and made an appearance, right? What's your why? What's your why? Type it in the chat box. I would love to know what your why is as well, right? If you have any questions, just type them in the Q&A section. So if it's kind of like a more technical question, type it in the Q&A section and I'll try to stop halfway through. And then at the end, we'll answer questions. It's a half day here. So the kids are home, so we don't have to end the call too early. We might be able to go a little bit longer. If you have a question about signing up for a class, if you have a question about enrolling in Private Money Club, Jose Harkin, he just posted in the chat box there. That's who can help you with those types of questions. Anything Private Money Club, logistics wise, things like this, Jose is here to help you. You can click on the link that Jose posts or send them a text message. There's his number there. And you guys can have a one-on-one meeting. He'll show you around and give you the white glove treatment. VIP access to PMC and give you a little tour, right? So he's in the chat box. All experience levels are welcome. All experience levels are welcome. We've got people in Private Money Club that are doing amazing things. They've extremely experienced, and we've got people who are brand new and they're just trying to figure out how to fund their next rental property so that they can create some cash flow and pursue some of these awesome reasons why you're all here on the call. Thank you for that, by the way. 4 kids, hubby working too many hours. Man, I love that. Freedom for lifestyle and family, time with family, to leave a legacy for my family. Time for family instead of constant work, a better life. I have the same one. So that's really cool. I can tell we've got a lot in common, and that's pretty awesome to see. At the end of the day, I think we all have a lot more in common than we are led to believe sometimes. Isn't that right? So, okay. So what do you think of when you hear the term private lender? Let's talk about this. We got to I love practicing this, because when you start implementing some of the things that you learn on these webinars and some of the things that I'm teaching you in the accelerator class, or when you start talking about private money lending to people, a lot of people might not necessarily know what that is, right? So we kind of go into this conversation. Not everybody's in the private money club, right? So if you're having conversations outside, it might be a little bit harder. Thank you. It might be a little bit harder to articulate what it means to be a private money lender. So in the chat box, I'm going to ask you a question. What do you think of when you hear the term private money lender? What do you think of when you hear the term private money lender? Type it in the chat. What do you think of? Let's see. What do we got? What do you think of when I got a lot of responses. IRA, someone says. Okay, yeah, using an IRA. Someone said higher interest. Someone said non-institutional. I heard it's called a hard money lender because of interest, right? I love this. Chris Stokes says individuals, a person. I love it. I love it. That's what's pretty cool about this, right? So when we talk about private money lending and a private money lender in the context of our community, we're talking about a person, right? An individual, just like Tyler said, an individual, right? Maybe looking for an unconventional way to have their money make money, right? So that's pretty cool. Like outside of this space here, if we say private money lender, someone might think Tony Soprano or something, right? Like, loan shark, or like a baseball bat if you don't pay or something. So we got to know that, like, people outside this community here, when you're having conversations, they don't take for granted that they might already know what a private money lender is, because they probably don't, because this isn't necessarily something that's taught by a financial advisor. Like you don't necessarily walk into a bank and say, hey, I don't really want to do these CDs and annuities, but I would love the idea of becoming a private money lender. The bank's going to be like, yeah, I don't know about that, right? So as we introduce this concept to people, here's what I might suggest. It's kind of a gift and a curse. Everywhere that I go, every person that I meet is, in my mind, is either a private money lender today or a private money lender tomorrow. My goal, as I have conversations with people about careers and what we do for a living and real estate investing, is to leave them intrigued about the possibility of becoming one of my lenders, right? I'm a big believer. Like, a person doesn't have to be a multimillionaire to be a private money lender. As long as that person is educated on, what to look for and what to ask, I truly believe anyone can do this, right? And have their money put to work at a better rate of return than it would be sitting in a savings account, right? So that's kind of the premise of it here. But I'm curious, this is my favorite part of the webinar. Let's see who we got here, Jose, right? What are your goals? If you're a borrower and you're on this call, type borrower in the chat box. Where are my borrowers at? Are you a borrower on the call? Where's my real estate investors? All right, I love it. I love it. Rachel says active deal, active deal. 5 alarm. All right. What are your goals? I'm going to give you some ideas too. So, like, if you are a borrower on this call right now and you are like, I need to get some funding, next couple of slides, I'm going to cover what I would do if I were you, right? To get the most exposure and to get the most eyes on you and your deals, right? Vera, same thing. Vera says she has 2 deals. I'm going to share with you exactly what I would do if I was Vera. All right. So that's cool. Lots of borrowers. And the same, you know, what's interesting outside of private money club, if you're just talking to like your friends or family or whatever, you're going to see like lots of times people are like kind of disbelief that there's so many people out there that are open to becoming private money lenders. It's kind of crazy, right? It's kind of crazy. Like I talk to friends, a lot of them real estate investors, maybe they use their own cash, maybe they still use like a hard money lending company, which is fine. All right. But they think I'm kind of like the anomaly because I always use private funding, right? But watch this. Watch this. How many of you are on the call right now? Let's see. How many we got, Jose? I don't know if you can see. I can see 105. So there's 105 people logged in at this given moment. How many of you are lenders? And maybe you're not a lender yet, but you love the idea of putting money to work, having it secured by real estate that's worth more than your loan amount, and making a nice interest rate. Angie says, lender. Most of my friends think I'm crazy for doing this. I love it. I love it. All right. So here they come. Here they come. Some of your names are very familiar to me. Some of them are brand new, which is awesome to see. I see some people saying future lender, which is awesome. Like, so this is really, really cool. I love to see both. All right. Chris says both. Is there anybody that's both? It's pretty common that people who are in real estate investors, maybe they come from a different career. Like I think Chris came from a more of a corporate background, and she had a 401k. She rolled that money over into self-directed 401k or self-directed IRA. I'm assuming one or the other. And she lends money with her old 401k that's now rolled over, and also invests in real estate, borrows money from other people to fund her own deals, which is pretty cool, right? So, okay, yeah, she's got a self-directed 401. Okay, so that's cool. So you do exist. You do exist. It's not like Bigfoot, right? You guys, the lenders are out there. I think it all has to do with, you know, your community. You know what I mean? Like it all has to do with like the pond that you're fishing in. You know, back in the day, Jose and I used to have to go to, you know, friends, family, all this stuff. We would do our elevator pitches to strangers, right? Hey, how would you like to make a double-digit rate of return? Have it secured by real estate, blah, 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 blah. And it was hard. It was hard. It was worth it, but it was also more difficult, right, Jose? Now, what's cool is there's this platform called Private Money Club. It's a pond essentially where everyone knows what it is. So when you throw a deal in the water, people are looking at it, people are biting, people are checking you out, right? When you raise your hand and say, hey, I've got funds, I want to lend, people are like, yeah, here's my business model, this is what I do, are you interested in doing something like this? And the conversations start, right? Which is pretty cool. So for Vera and for everyone else that was on this call that had deals and they were like, I got to figure out how to get funding, or this is you in the future, right? This is what I would do. All right, here's some action steps that I'm going to give you. Number one, all 105 people on the call right now, 107, should be a member of Private Money Club. Like that's a no-brainer. Okay. So there's a couple different options. If you're brand new and you're like, this is the first time I've heard of PMC, first time I've heard of Private Money Club, go create a free account, right? So there's free members. Usually that's the people that are just kind of checking it out, testing it out, and they want to see what it's all about. Okay. Jose can throw up the link and you can go privatemoneyclub.com and create a free profile that looks just like mine, essentially, right? A couple things are going to be different because I'm a premier member. Or you can go in and you can become a premier member. If you're a premier member, type it in the chat box. How many of you are premier members? Type that in the chat box if you're a premier member. I see a lot of your names, which is awesome. I always like to see who the premier members on the call are. Francisco, Jeremy said not yet. Patrick, right? Sherry, Angie, right? Cool. All right. So I see a lot of you on here, premier member. Yeah. And you can book a call if you're like, I don't know the difference. Just you can click a link and book a call with Jose and he can walk you through what the difference is. I'll kind of show you around and show you what some of the difference are. What percentage of all the members are premier members? That's a good question, Vicky. I don't know the answer, but we can go and kind of look and I can kind of show you. Maybe it's 50-50 if I had to like pull something. I don't like pulling statistics out of thin air, but it seems to be a balance of both. But I would say the people who are active are probably more so the premier members, right? As opposed to like the people just going to check it out. And if you get it for a free membership, then just once you're like, okay, yeah, this is good, this is cool, this is going to help me in my business, then just leapfrog and go ahead and enroll in the Premier membership, right? So that's an action step. I'm going to share with you. That's kind of my profile. So if you guys go in there and you're a free member or a Premier member, and maybe we're not like connected yet, go find me and Christy. Go find me and my wife. That I'm going to share with you what I would do now if I had deals that needed funding. So I'm going to share with you this slide, and then I'll actually go on Private Money Club and talk about a little bit what's going on the site. So here's what I would do. Number one, create a profile, create a free profile, at least Premier members. So if you look at my profile there, there's like a little orange envelope. That's the symbol for a Premier membership. Okay. So that shows that I'm a Premier member, and it says how long I've been a member. The little pink check mark badge, that means that I took a course in Private Money Club that came with my membership on lending. So I'm a PMC certified lender educated, right? I took that class. The purple one, I believe, is for the borrowers. So I took a course in PMC that's part of their membership. And so this just shows, and when you log in, you can see who's done this and who hasn't. By the way, if you're a Premier member and you haven't taken those classes yet, go do it. It just takes like an hour or two. I sat on the back porch, a nice, beautiful day with we'll just call it a sweet tea, and I knocked out the classes, right? And it just really helps your profile stand out. So number one, create your profile. Number two, and this is what I was telling Chris. Chris Stokes said she's putting together a package right now, and she's going to be ready to present. Well, what I would recommend to Chris, this is one of the differences between just a free membership and a Premier membership. Chris, because she's a Premier membership, she actually can go on Money Club Monday, which is a webinar that we do for Private Money Club, hosted by one of the founders, Stephen Nagy, and she can share her deal. So she can share her deal live. She can put together PowerPoint slides, have, it's an hour-long segment. She can take as long as she wants or needs to articulate what that opportunity is and explain what the opportunity is. And then I would go and I would post it in the deal section of Private Money Club. So now you have your profile built out, then you're presenting live, and you've got your deal posted right there for people to see. And in the good deals, they don't last. They don't, from my experience, I can't speak for everyone else. From my experience, it seems as though a lot of eyes get on these deals, and I've never had a problem funding a deal after posting it in Private Money Club. That's a fact. I can say that with 100% confidence. So let me share with you what this looks like live, because the site's always changing. Things are always changing. I think it's important. I'll just pull this up and we can take a look here. So when you log into Private Money Club, it's very clean, right? It's very organized. If you're about business, like it has like a real nice social media type of look to it, because it is a community. It is like a social network, but it's borrowers and lenders meeting each other, but without all of the trash that's out on social media these days. It's all business, and that's why I like about it. So every morning I log in, I see what's happening, I see what's cooking. So what I would do is I'd come over here. I'll just show you my profile first. And I think your profile, this is where you got to start, because if you have a deal and someone clicks on your profile but your profile isn't filled out, they're going to think that you're not real, or that you're like not serious, or you're an Algerian prince that just won the lottery and all you need is $500 to send the winning ticket to America or something, right? They're going to think you're a scam. So make sure you take the time to fill out your profile correctly and make it personal. Here's some tips of what I would do, right? So I got the picture there. I got the background photo. You can also post, this is kind of cool, photos up here. And what I did is I posted photos of past projects, so people can see what it's like to work with us. These slides here are actually slides in my presentations. So if someone were to see one of my presentations that I've done for a house that needs funding, they'll see that, some of these similar slides. I'm just kind of creating some consistency here. And then I have a little bio about like what my business looks like, what are the types of loans, what it looks like normally to work with us, price points and things like this. I have a call to action, so it's important that you let people know, how do you want them to connect with you? Do you want them to just Click on your profile and send you a message in Private Money Club? Do you want them to go to your website? Do you want them to call you? Right? What does this look like? We have that in there as well, right? And I also teach a class for PMC called the Accelerator, so I got information on that as well, because people are always asking about it. It can show you some active deals. As you can see, this deal I posted this month that got funded pretty quickly. You can see that I have some certifications down there. Any posts and things like that that I've made in Private Money Club, so you can get the vibe that I'm a real person and things like this. And so if you're in Private Money Club, go friend me. Let's follow one another, right? And then in the community section over here, this is kind of like a live feed, and there's different groups and things like that that a person can belong to. You can post your deals in here, your opportunities in here. But again, you're fishing in the right pond. You're around people that this is what we do, right? If I made a post on Facebook and I got like 3,000 Facebook friends or whatever, I might get like one or two people. They're like, oh, that's cool. In Private Money Club, we're all kind of doing, we all have similar goals. We all, want to help one another, borrowers and lenders, so on and so forth. Like this morning here, this was a project I just posted that we did. And, I have mentioned this house a few times on these webinars and in the accelerator course. So I just said, hey, look, I've mentioned this. This is some of the after photos. If you want to take a look at the project, you can go to the website here or whatever, right? So just staying active, right? Just staying active. As my grandfather, when my grandfather retired, he would always say, I'm still active. And so I always kind of chuckle to myself when I say I'm active. I sound like my grandfather. All right, cool. So here's the deal section. It's super simple to post deals. You just come over here and you click post deal, and then boom, you just start going through all of these prompts. And what I like about this is you can actually add attachments and things like that, where you can put together a packet, and people can not only just click on the link to find out more, but they can click on your packet and so forth right here, right? So I'm kind of wearing like a little, not fully Hawaiian, but kind of a Hawaiian shirt. So I'm gonna click on this one here today because this project is in Hawaii. Do we have anyone from Hawaii on the call right now? So it's kind of cool. It's got all the details about it. You can come over here. You can see that this person who's posting this deal is a premier member. And if I wanted to click on their profile, I could click on their profile and just kind of see if there's anything else going on with them. Just kind of get, and if I wanted to message them about their deal, I would just hit message and then boom, right? It's really that simple. And it's just super cool. Learning, I mentioned some of the classes. So introduction to contract law, certification for borrowers and lenders. And then there's also a tools section here where there's videos and information on how to use some of the tools that Private Money Club offers to some of its students. So again, if I was on this call right now and I had a deal or I saw myself needing money in the future, here's the 3 things that I would do. I would create that profile. I would present the opportunity to the community, and I would be posting my deals. Right? Jose, am I missing anything? We do a lot of live events. I would probably try to get to a live event as well to like meet people face to face and things like that too. But the more a person networks, that's why I love seeing a lot of your names on here. It's just a familiarity, right? And I know Jose probably knows a lot of you guys more than I do on a more personal level, because he maybe enrolled you into the program or gave you an orientation. Some of you are, hey, if you've taken my accelerator class, type it in the chat box. How many of you have taken my accelerator course? Do I have any alumni on the call right now? Just let me know. But what's cool about that is we try to limit it to around 20 people, the accelerator course, and that really helps expedite things, helps collapse time frames of learning some of these things of how to present and things like that. Just some extra hand holding. And what's cool is the class is usually made up of 50-50, 60-40 borrowers and lenders, and they actually get to build relationships within that classroom, right? That virtual classroom, which is kind of cool. So I see some people talking about it, which is awesome, right? Cool. Julie. Yeah, Julie's in the class now, right? Brian's learning about it. Angie's alum, right? So that's cool. So yeah, take action, right? Take action. So our next class, actually these dates, I'll type it in the chat box here. It's March 10th. I know it says 27th. We're halfway through this one right now. So it's March 10th. And then Jose, March, I think it's 5th, we do an orientation. So before we actually start this course, we have you come on and talk about what your goals are and get to know one another, not just with me, but with the other students in your class. Because how cool would it be if you met someone in the same class as you that was a borrower and you were a lender, right? So you kind of get to know one another a little bit better, which is awesome. All right, cool. So make a move, Jose said. Jose, right on cue, make a move. So, this is the Quick Start webinar. I just gave you guys a bunch of ideas on how to get started with helping hit your goals for 2025. The last thing that anyone wants is to waste our time together, right? This is the Quick Start webinar. It's not the as Jennifer Patel says, Noah, this isn't the make a turkey sandwich and just listen to Noah Harris talk about private money webinar. It's the Quick Start webinar, right, Jen? So we got to take action. So here's some things. If you haven't done any of these yet, just go ahead and do them. Number one, create your profile. If you don't have a free profile, create the free profile. If you have been a free member and you're ready to jump to Premier so you can start sharing more deals and having more exposure, then schedule a blueprint with Jose. If you haven't taken those certification courses yet, what are you doing? If you're a Premier member and you have access to those classes, and you can have the badges next to your name to help you stand out and educate yourself more, I would absolutely recommend doing that, right? And we got the right dates there, Jose. Starts March 10th. Orientation is on March 5th, which is awesome, right? I love it. I love it. So this is what we're working on. I'm going to see if there's any questions in the Q&A, Jose. But yeah, every single week we're working on helping people build their credibility, clarity around how all this stuff works. We think that if you have the first two, the confidence will start to come. And, if you stay plugged into this and join the community, then, when it comes to private money lending, it just seems to get, I hate using the word easy, but it just seems to get a little bit more simpler. Is that a word? Simple? More simple? It gets to more simple, Jose, right? When you're around the right people. So let me see if we got any questions. And then we're going to get into some elevator pitch because we've been practicing the elevator pitch. I think you got to hit that every single week. How do we become our own bank? Okay. Okay, Evelyn, I love it. We got to get you on another webinar. Maybe Jose can help you out with that, right? So like what's cool is so many people in this community. I'm going to do a poll right now. How many of you are your own bank, like Evelyn's asking the question about, and you have an IBC policy with a money multiplier team or something along those lines? How many of you know what I'm talking about? Say me in the chat box. Say me in the chat box. Okay, cool. All right. So probably lots of people, right? David. Oh, David and Dorothy are on here. What's up, guys? Paul says just funded. Okay. Vicky says me. Yeah. So like you're thinking and acting like a bank. I love it. I got 4 of those things, right? So I would recommend hopping on a webinar with Chris Naugle and Stephen Nagy and the Money Multiplier team to get yourself set up so that you can start using some of the same principles that the bank use to compound and protect and grow your nest egg and your wealth, right? So not this webinar, but we can get you pointed in the right direction, Evelyn. I promise you are in the right place. It's just one room over. And then once you got that beautiful bank set up, then you can start lending and doing all kinds of cool stuff with it too, right? I love it. Okay, here's I realize PMC is about private money lending, but as an investor, what are your thoughts about getting in either a cash refi or home equity line? I just secured 7.65% from Citizens Bank. That's cheaper than lending it around. Yeah. Hey, I think money's money, right? I wouldn't limit yourself, like we've had a home equity line on our properties in the past, but it's only so much, right? So get it and then go get 10 other people that can also become your private money lenders too. You're never going to hear me say no to money, whether it's 7%, 9%, 10%. I'm a big believer in constantly building relationships, having access to as much as possible so that when you need it, you're ready. What's cool is each deal is going to be different. So I love paying 7% or around that for my rental properties. But at the same time, I might pay 12, 13 or 14 over here if I know that it's a shorter term. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to make my minimum profits and things like this. So go get everything set up that you can get set up. And then you got to figure out what money is going to be good for which deals. Right. So yeah, do it for sure. For sure. If that's what you want, do it. When is the next live person event? Jose, when is the next Money Tank? Is that the next live person event? Is that the next one? I'm not sure. I can't think of the dates off the top of my head, but Jose would probably know the answer to that. Okay, May 8th and 9th in Dallas, Texas. You've heard it here first, folks. We are headed to the great state of Texas, May 8th and 9th for the next Money Tank event. That is awesome. Is that news breaking? Were we supposed to say that, Jose? I don't know. Tickets will go fast. Yeah, they will. They will. All right, cool. So here we go. All right, let's go back. Let's hit some elevator pitch practice. This never gets old. I love this stuff. This popped up. We got to talk about it, Jose. I'm a big believer. I've had this up here a couple times now. I've been putting this up here every week. I'm just a big believer that if you're going to present a deal, that you should have all the information there. I was coaching a student in the accelerator program, and they forwarded me an email from someone that was looking for funding, and they sent over their package, their packet with all the information that they sent to the potential lender. And it was like 8 photos and like a promissory note that was already filled out and signed. And that was it. And I said, how in the heck are you supposed to, how do they think that you're going to be able to make a decision about this deal based off of this information? This is ludicrous. This is crazy. Right. And I'm not saying that borrower was bad, but what I am saying is that borrower was lazy. All right. So if I were to put together, like Christine Stokes right now is putting together a package, I imagine Christine Stokes is putting together all of this information here before she starts talking to people about funding that deal. So at a minimum, just to say, hey, who's interested? I would put these things together, right? I'd make it nice. I'd have a cover page. Inside Private Money Club, there's a document called the Perfect Loan Proposal, which talks about you and your company as a business, right? Comparable sales, repair estimates, detailed photos, property tax card, a copy of the contract. So if you're buying a new property, I want to see that, you're under contract and this is what's actually happening. Hello. Exit strategy letter talking about, where you're typing up what your plans are with the property. Is there a title company that you already have doing title work on the property, or an attorney, things like that. I also like to know kind of like what your experience level is. So wouldn't that make you feel good if you were a lender and the borrower sent over, details of properties that they currently have and properties that they've done in the past? So this is a good start, right? Like, I like to make my life easy. And I feel like the way that we do that as real estate investors is we learn how to do this legwork up front to make it easy for people to say yes. And if you do this stuff up front and you get it in front of people, they're going to feel more confident because not everyone is doing this. All right. And that's the goal, to get folks, to elevate the level of ethics, integrity, how people are doing things here within the Private Money Club, right? So get this up there. Get this up there. If you're moving forward, maybe you want to make sure that you're asking for these. If I was a lender, I would probably be asking for this stuff, right? I want to see a mortgage or a deed of trust. I want to see a promissory note written. I want to see a personal guarantee if it's in an LLC. I'd like to have a lender's title insurance policy. Before wiring the funds, I'd like to see, my name on there, on the settlement statement, showing that everything is, the I's are dotted and T's are crossed, right? If you're a first position or a second position, are you cool with being in the second position? Is there enough equity in the deal where having a second position lien makes sense? Like, these are real important questions that sometimes people don't really, sometimes you don't know what you don't know, right? Is there anyone on the call and you're thinking to yourself, gosh, I love the idea of doing private money lending. I love the idea of making, I hear you can make 10, 12, 14, whatever percent, having it secured by real estate, but maybe I just don't know what questions to ask, right? Maybe, are you learning stuff on this call? If you're on here and you're like, man, I love the idea of doing it, I just know there's things I don't know. Let's learn about them, right? Let's learn about them. That's what we do on these calls here. That's what we do in the accelerator course. Is there equity in the deal? One of the big things too is, one of the things I see is being problematic for people. It doesn't have to be this way. Is having a conversation up front with the borrower about how you want to be updated on the progress of these projects. You'd be amazed how many people I talk to and they're like, hey, I funded a deal. It's been 6 months. I haven't heard anything. I mean, what do you mean you haven't heard anything? They're like, well, I just haven't heard anything. It's like, well, didn't you talk about how you wanted to be updated on how things are going? They're like, no, I didn't even know to do that. That's what makes it fun. It's fun. If you like fix and flip projects, but maybe you don't want to be the one that's doing the fixing and the flipping, but you love the before and afters and things like this, get updates, right? Ask them to send you pictures, ask them to send you a monthly update or whatever, right? That's what makes it fun, seeing the before and afters, right? And then, as my wife always says, what's your gut telling you, right? What's your gut telling you? Do they have all of these things? Is your gut telling you this is going to work out? Never become a motivated lender. Never become a motivated lender. I don't care if you guys got your IBC policies set up, you got your IRAs rocking and rolling, you're ready to go, you're a brand new member in Private Money Club. That doesn't mean that the first person that messages you is you should do business with, right? We want to make sure that this is like the dating site for borrowers and lenders. So you want to make sure that the person that you are working with is someone you want to work with, and make sure it's a deal you want to do, right? Don't rush it. Don't rush it. Take your time. Find your five, right, Jose? Find your five. And I think you're going to be okay, right? I think you're going to be okay. Can we get copies? Can we get these slides? I don't know if I like send the slides. I mean, I don't mind if you take a picture or whatever, but in Private Money Club, there's actually a section, a group, I believe, where these recordings are, right, Jose? So I think you can find the recordings and you can go back and you can watch all 50 of them if you wanted to, since this is the 50th time that we've done this. All right, here, let's go elevator pitch. Here we go. So I like to teach the elevator pitch. We've got 10 minutes. Let's see how much we can get done here. I like to teach this in the context of a real elevator. Actually, let me back up. I like to teach this like it's an elevator, not a real elevator. So the ground floor. We're on the ground floor right now, right? And the ground floor is exposing people, teaching to people what private money lending is. Now, you got to remember, not a lot of people understand. We've got the Private Money Club, so it's a little bit different, but let's pretend we're outside of Private Money Club. We got to, when we're talking to people, family, friends, people in our circle, people that we know, a lot of them have no idea what a private money loan is, and they have no idea that they could be the one lending the money, right? So one of the things that I like to do is just kind of put this in a context that's relatable to as many people as possible. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that a lot of people own their own homes. So one of the conversation pieces that I start to kind of kick things off and get things going, because look, I call it an elevator pitch because I believe that there's floors and I believe that there's buttons that need to be pushed to get to those next floors. However, I'm not the one that's going to be pushing the button. We want to make sure that if I'm the borrower and I'm talking to a potential lender, I want to make sure that the lender is the one pushing the button. I want to make sure that the lender is the one that wants to go up to the next floor. I don't go up to the next floor. I never push the buttons, right? We might open the door. That's it. Our conversations are going to leave people wanting to learn more. That's what makes a great elevator pitch. I don't think the elevator pitch is necessarily like 30 seconds or less, or long enough in an elevator ride to talk about what you got going on. I think it has to do with who's pushing the buttons and getting to the next floor. So one of the things that I always tell people is, hey, look, do you own your own house? And then when they're like, yeah, I'll be like, when you bought your house, did you get a mortgage? Did you sign a promissory note to pay back the loan? Did you have to go to, Jake from State Farm and get your insurance set up on the house before the closing? They're gonna be like, yeah, we did all those things. Be like, great. Well, just like you did that for Wells Fargo, we do that for you. And you can start to see the light bulbs kind of go off. And it's like, wow, okay, great. So like I can be the bank. Yes, you can be like the bank, right? And you see the 4 little words down there, just like a bank. When you get those 4 little words, just like a bank, people start nodding their heads, smiling, their eyes get bigger, and they start to get it, right? Once we kind of give people the self-belief and the self-concept that they can too be private money lenders, just like the bank, they're going to want to talk about money. Well, let's talk about funding. Show me the money, right? So it's important during your elevator pitch. Remember, now they're pushing the button. They want to learn more about what this looks like and how they might make money. I would figure out what you're comfortable paying. What does it look like to work with you? This is me. This is mine, right? You can use mine. This is what I would say. We pay anywhere from 8 to 12% annualized interest. Each loan opportunity is unique. I do a lot of fix and flip deals, so this is my sweet spot, right? This is what I tell people. And what's cool is there's this little thing called optimism bias. So even if I say 8 to 12, people are like, wow, okay, 12%. That sounds awesome. So now you got people thinking 12%, 12%, 12%. But here's, and I would just zip it. I wouldn't say anything. I'm not going to talk about it anymore unless they push the button. If they want to go up to the next floor in the elevator, we can go up to the next floor in the elevator. And that's the documents. So keep in mind, you just told someone that they could make 12% on their money and having it secured by real estate, just like the bank. They might be a little skeptical, right? You're going to pay me 12%? That's crazy. I just saw on the news that 7% is absolutely ridiculous. I got my mortgage is at 5%. You're a loser for paying 12. They're not going to get it, right? So in our business and real estate investing, short-term loans, things like this, it's a little riskier. We can pay more things, right? There's reasons why we're able to pay and want to pay 10, 12, whatever percent. So what's going to solidify this, what's going to kind of make people feel good about it is that we use attorneys, we use title companies, we use licensed business professionals, and we draft documents. We have them recorded, but for conversation purposes, we're going to let them know. We do a promissory note, we do a mortgage or a deed of trust. We list you on, we provide personal guarantees on all of our loans. And we always list you on the insurance as the loss paid, right? So just like a bank would want. Now, these aren't all the things. So if you're watching this and you're like, oh, okay, this is all I need, check, check, check. There's still other types of documents that I would require and request and things like that if I were lending money, just to make sure I'm doing things the right way. But for elevator purposes, for conversation purposes, this is it, right? This is going to get people feeling, oh, okay, like it's not a handshake deal. This isn't like I'm just loaning money to my cousin or something like that so he can go, open up a food truck or something, right? Like this is like a real thing. Like there's going to be collateral, there's attorneys involved, right? It elevates the conversation. Okay. Show me the money. So again, I've been preaching this to all of my students in the accelerator class. Everything should be prepared, reviewed by a licensed business professional. Here in the state of South Carolina, attorneys draft our mortgages, our promissory notes, conduct our closings. All the funds are wired to the attorney's office. It may be in your area, you would use an attorney or title company or a combination thereof. But it's recorded. Okay. So everything is recorded. So that the house can't sell without us being paid off. The house can't refinance without, showing that we have a lien on that property. Right. So that's what makes private money lending great. When you do this the right way, you have a good borrower, you have a good deal, there's equity in the deal, you've got a good team, you got good paperwork, your paperwork's recorded, you're updated properly on the progress of the projects and things like this. These are the key components, right? And I think, Jose, sometimes if people miss even just one or two of those things, I mean, I see some of my lenders on here and they'll tell you this is some of the best money, easy. I don't want to say easy, but gosh, how hard is it? Once you got this down and you're educated, you got a good borrower, they got good properties. Maybe the interest is being wired. It's not, you don't even have to walk to your mailbox anymore to get your checks. I mean, I don't know how much simpler it gets for a person, right? But there's a lot of little things that could not work out. And when you don't do all of these things, you're leaving yourself a little vulnerable, right? So we want to make sure we're tighten things up and we're doing things the best way that we know how. All right, which is super cool. All right, cool. 157. I'm going to answer some questions, but I don't know, guys, was this a good class? Like for the 50th anniversary, was this, if you're brand new to this, did you learn anything here today, or did we solidify anything? Did you learn something maybe a little bit differently than maybe you read or were taught by however you learned about it, right? All right, cool. I love it. Yeah, the big 5-0. We are over the hill. We are over the hill. All right. So is there a list of recommended to use? Is there a list of documents recommended to use located on your site when lending? We want to make sure we don't miss anything on our potential borrower. Yeah, there's all kinds of resources in Private Money Club. In that one section there that had like the tools, there was something called the perfect loan proposal. And if you download the perfect loan proposal, Lynette, you'll get some ideas of how best to do things. And then in the accelerator course as well, that's a lot of what we cover, right? That's a lot of what we cover. I think sometimes the lenders, Jose, in the accelerator course, I think I kind of make them mad because they're like, man, you got a lot of like red flags, you got a lot of rule, but that's what we try to do, right? I would much rather you guys play it safe and make sure you ask for things as opposed to just trying to make a deal work. Like, you should never feel like you have to make a deal work. The borrower should be doing everything in their power to give you everything to make it seem super easy and seamless, and make you feel really good about it, right? So that's awesome. All right, cool. I'm gonna hit the Q&A section one more time. I came late. Do you have another one? Yes, we do this every single Thursday at 1 o'clock. Every single Thursday at 1 o'clock. And I love here, Jose has something here too, which is kind of cool. He has a link here. I don't know if you guys see it. I'm gonna copy and paste it, Jose. So my wife just got done teaching. I don't know. Do you guys like mobile homes, manufactured homes? Anybody here see value in investing in mobile and manufactured homes at a time when affordable housing is at its greatest need ever? Or is it just me? So if you click that link there, christyduckett.com, she does teach a class also for Private Money Club called the Mobile Home Take Action Challenge. This is a 4-week course where my wife, Christy Duckett, you can see her right here. She walks through everything that she does when she wants to go out and crush a mobile home deal. There's so many different ways to make money in this country, and mobile manufactured homes is definitely one of them. And so this is also good for lenders. So like if you're on here and you're a lender and you have maybe like a smaller amount, you're not necessarily a couple $100,000 or whatever that you're working with, you could probably fund a mobile or manufactured home deal, smaller price points, things like this. But there are some things that you want to make sure, is it titled? Is it detitled? So she teaches a class about that, but she calls it the challenge because she really is hoping that people implement and along the way, and then go out there and actually start seeing the results in that 4-week time frame, right? Which is pretty cool. That's what she strives for. Land and mobile factored homes. Yeah, there's some good deals in Private Money Club actually that I saw where there's people who are buy land, clear the land, perk the land, drop a new modular home or manufactured home on there, use private money to fund those deals, and then they turn around, they flip it, and they sell it. And gosh, that seems like a great exit strategy there, right? So there's all kinds of cool ways to do this, but that's the link there. I saw her name there, which is cool. So, all right, guys, it's 2:02. I'm gonna sign off. Thanks for making this a memorable 50th Quick Start webinar. This was awesome. I won't forget any of you. I won't forget you, Jeremy, Evelyn, Charlie, Brian, and everyone else that's on here for the first time. You guys are awesome. Thanks, Jennifer. It's always great to see a friend on here. And I hope you guys have an amazing week, an amazing weekend, and I will see you next week. Hey, Sherry. All right. Take care, everybody.